yourself. Do for yourself. As Marcus Garvey said, up you mighty race, you can accomplish what you will. And we know that money can't solve all of our problems, but we know that money can solve our money problems. And there might be some money problems in our community that we can solve just by doing business with each other. We are going to get started here in the broadcast, and I have in studio with me this evening the representative for Pre-Evergreen, which is a nonprofit here in the community, and also Miss Lisa Thompson, the proud owner of Chez Agnier Gifts and Travel, is in the studio with us. So we're going to get right into it. I know that Pre-Evergreen works with people who need all sorts of services in our community, and we have the program director, Brother Isaiah Jenkins, here with us. Good evening, Brother Isaiah.
Yes, good evening.
I'm glad to have you in the studio this evening. And as we talk about Pre-Evergreen, tell me what's unique about the programs that Pre-Evergreen offers to people in our community.
Okay, the most unique thing is that Pre-Evergreen will create jobs. Most programs do drug and alcohol. Some have housing. None of them, though, are creating real jobs for real people. Mm-hmm. And people who are formerly incarcerated will need jobs. We plan to train people in solar energy, mm-hmm. Green energy, mm-hmm. recycling, waste management. We have a fully certified program. Mm-hmm. It's been certified and it's been test driven in North Carolina. And it's still running. Mm-hmm. What we're looking forward to is to equip people to go into that field. It's a new field. Mm-hmm. It's a wide open field. Not many people are really trained mm-hmm. to go into that field. Mm-hmm. We have a whole curriculum from A to Z. It will actually train people in all of those areas and certify them, which will help them have job opportunities.
Who is a great referral for Pre-Evergreen? Who is the person in our community that you're looking to assess? Is it the formerly incarcerated person only, or are there others that you can help?
We want to assist formerly incarcerated people, their families, mm-hmm. their children. Mm-hmm. Very, very important. Not only have the people who were gone from home mm-hmm. suffered, their families suffered, the children suffered, the lack of fathers, the lack of the income. So we have, and it's not really a program, it's also under New Entry and Pilgrimage Outreach Ministry. Mm-hmm. So we want to treat each person, each family, each child, so that we can make them all whole again.
Mm-hmm. That is an awesome work that you're doing. In the Christian tradition, the words that Jesus spoke just come to mind. Inasmuch as you've done it for the least of these, my brethren, you've done it also unto me. So, especially at this time of the year, tell me some of the services that people who are in this position find themselves. I know the founder of Pre-Evergreen, Dr. Joseph Robinson, tells me everything from counseling, everything from housing, everything from job referrals. What are some of the services that Pre-Evergreen provides this time of the year? Because it seems to me that the holiday season always evokes some emotions, and sometimes people always aren't up during this season. Depending on what's happened in their lives, people could be down during the season as they watch others, participate. They may not be with their families, other things like that. So how does Pre-Evergreen then come in and ease some of that pressure?
Well, along with a few other agencies, we've had coat drives. We're going to be doing toys for tots. I think we gave out about 500 turkeys for Thanksgiving.
Wow.
We also have a collaboration with Kumac Echo, which is one of the largest food pantries in northern Jersey. Mm-hmm. I think Over the Thanksgiving holidays, Kumac gave out about 1,300 turkeys, and we fed about an additional 25,000 families.
Wow, wow. That is awesome. That is awesome. We're gonna move right over to Minister Lisa Thompson. You know somebody who knows Dr. Joseph Robinson, one Apostle Joseph Robinson Sr., and I know that in addition to your own business, there's some activities coming up that you'd like to share that the Holy House Assembly of Prayer, Joseph Robinson Sr.'s organization, is offering. He's doing a family dinner coming up very soon. Am I correct?
Absolutely. It's Thursday, December 22nd. It's going to be at the International House of Pancakes in Patterson, right downtown in that Center City Mall. IHOP food is absolutely delicious. I can't wait.
Thank you, Joseph Knight.
I can't wait. The staff was so warm and welcoming to us to come down there. So we want the whole community to come. It's only $25. There's going to be raffles. There's going to be gifts. We're looking to just make the holiday fun for a lot of people. Apostle Joseph will be there with his beautiful wife, Prophetess Laura, and we want the whole community to come out. And, you know, if you're interested, you can just give me a call so I can make sure my head count is right. And my phone number is 973-653-6333. That's 973-653-6333. We'd love to pack that restaurant out. It's only at 7 o'clock p.m. that Thursday, and it's only $25, and we want everybody to come. Everybody is welcome.
Chicken feed, church boy caller. Huh? Chicken feed. Tell me why they do this. Is this to bring the families out in the community? Is this the fellowship with families? What is the reason for this event?
It's for those two reasons that you just said. It's family, fun, fellowship, love. There's going to be some prayer going on there. And if I get a nice amount of people that agree ahead of time to come, I'm going to have the photographer come out as well. And he'll be there. Brother Cornelius, the best photographer in all of the tri-state area, will be there.
That's right, the doctor of image.
Yes, he will be on hand with his equipment, and he'll be able to do photos right there on spot for a small fee.
For a small fee.
For a small fee.
All
so
right.
It'll be a great thing. You can get your picture taken, come, a little dressy and get your picture taken, and you'll remember the event, and it'll just be a lot of fellowship. Like you said, this is a time sometime when some people feel a little alone. They've got, some sad things. They remember some sad things. So if they can come and be part of a really big family that does not judge, we don't want to know where you've been. We just want to know where you're going. And can we help?
All right, Holy House Assembly of Prayer, Joseph Robinson Sr. That is this Thursday, December the 22nd, and it is 7 p.m. at the IHOP in the Center City Mall, 301 Main Street. Come in underground and Ward Street entrance and look to fellowship with him. Special guests that evening are the great First Ward Councilman, my friend Michael Jackson, awesome brother, and also Councilwoman of the 4th Ward of Patterson, Councilwoman Ruby Cotton, would also be in the house. So not only is the family of the Greater Assembly Holy House of Prayer and Jay's Car Wash going to be there, but we will also be having as guests that evening two of our public servants who do a wonderful thing. Most of you know that Councilman Jackson is also the owner of the great Jacksonville restaurant, which I am told is going to have a grand reopening coming up. So come on out that day for the Christmas Family and Fellowship Dinner. I'm going to come back to Brother Isaiah. Brother Isaiah, I was doing some reading on this issue of recidivism. Yeah. And a very respected judge, a federal court judge, Leon Higginbotham, who is on the Third Circuit in Philadelphia, recently wrote that 88% of all crimes that people commit in the United States of America are property related, and only 12% are violent crimes. So as people talk about, potentially having some kind of criminal justice reform in this country, Is that what you're finding when you talk to some of the population that you service, that their reasons for being in the system in the first place are small things that didn't have anything to do with any violence? In fact, most of the time it's violence to themselves.
Yes, a large number of a large number of them don't do violent crimes. It's mostly for drugs, trying to survive, trying to put food on the table. I guess the best way that they know how. Okay, I mean, you're dealing with people who grew up in one area. They go, they get locked up, they come back, and they're in the same area with no education, no job skills, no nothing, because it's really not required of them. So a part of what we hope to do is create education opportunities, create job opportunities, create housing, along with that case management and support. You have quite a few people who might come home and they may not be able to work for lack of a better word, mental health issues. They may be sick. Because at first it was thought that we'll just lock them up and lock them up and lock them up. Now they're finding out that all of the large numbers that they give out, people are now older. They're getting sick. They're coming home. They have no way to work. So with the case management, I can link them to all sort of services. Mental health places, I can help them get SSI. I can help them, and I can take them myself, or I can teach other people, because I have a big network that we use. And if you have mental health issues, if you have drug issues, a lot of them have to go into these places in order to get help. New entry and for Evergreen is going to be a one-stop shop. We're taking care of everything from housing to mental health to HIV, whether they're veterans, whether they're non-veterans. People need services, and the system is not equipped at this time. The recidivism rate is the failure rate. And if they're failing now, in the next 5 to 10 years, you're going to have about another 70,000 people in the 5 major cities here. And if we just have to do something. We have to do something for them, because as it is, you have the same people going back and forth because of lack of housing. They have to go to shelters. People don't want to go to shelters. They have these other issues, mental health issues. They don't have, if you have a drug charge, you're not eligible for welfare, Medicaid, financial aid, or housing. So just as soon as you get out, you're already doomed.
That's unfortunate.
Right, and so now there's there's a built-in failure rate as a consequence of that.
Yes, it is.
No prospect of success. So it sounds to me that Pre for Evergreen has a huge opportunity, an opportunity in people. And to be a blessing to its own communities by being a blessing to people. So we look forward to working with you, lending this platform as well as the supporters of this platform, because these are people in our families.
Yes.
That's right.
I know.
That's right.
I have 2 first cousins that presently are away for drug charges. I know that friends and family that I grew up with were murdered in the streets of East Orange, Newark. Everybody didn't make it to 50 plus. So I count myself blessed, right? Cornelius. So I don't want people to act like it's alien to them.
That's right.
It's in my family, right? I'm clear about that. It's in all of our families, and these are our families. So we have to embrace, we have to educate, we have to inspire, and we have to be there to make sure that we do what families do. Other communities absorb people back into their community and give them an opportunity and give them back their dignity and let them become productive members of those communities, there's no reason why we can't do it either. So again, like Judge Higginbotham said, if we get the economics issue correct in our community, if we build on the economics, then we'll be able to absorb our people, not giving them handouts, but giving them a hand up so that they can work in our communities. I know that Pastor Robinson does that at the Jay's Car Wash. I mean, most of the people who work at the Jay's Car Wash are people that nobody would give another opportunity. And I think you've witnessed this for yourself, right, Sister Lisa?
I have, and I have to say they're beautiful, humble people. They're not people that you need to be afraid of. He's had great success with helping them get on their feet.
Absolutely, and we've
great
witnessed
success.
it. They just had the reopening. I think what we probably saw over there is half of the Fourth Ward came out to chew on burgers, chew on hot dogs, but more than that, fellowship with them. And there's really a real need for us to unify ourselves and be a blessing to others in our community. So I want to ask Brother Isaiah, how do people that are in need or people that want to support Pre for Evergreen? I know we're going to be launching a fundraising campaign working with Pastor Joe, yourself, and the others. So how do people get in contact with Pre for Evergreen?
Well, my number is 973-420-9937.
Okay.
And like I said, I've been blessed to have a lot of connections in a lot of places. I promised God early on in my life, if He helped me, that I would help other people. That's what
Amen.
I do. I mean, I will help people, anybody on the street, if it is at all possible. I don't always have all of the answers, but I may be able to send you to someone else who has the answers. Okay, Reverend Robinson's number, he still has a 704 number.
Yeah, this.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, but it's 704-819-7897. We're both always in the field. We're always available. I can also be found at Kumac Echo, 223 Ellison Street. That's from 9 to 2. I'm usually there because I'm also a case manager there. Our case manager place called the Place of Promise, and it's a supportive housing program. So for the last 11 years, we've been helping homeless people who've been in and out, get back on their feet. I have people with me 10 years, 8 years, because it's also permanent housing. And that's what we want to offer to permanent housing. Until a person's able to go on their own, we want to help them get jobs, set up bank accounts, do all the other things they have to do, because some people don't know how to. So we want to be that group that takes them by the hand and walks them through it. We offer spiritual support, sober support. We're both drug counselors and just blessed. But I think most of all, we just want to serve our community.
Absolutely,
as best as we can.
Absolutely. You're doing a mighty work, Brother Isaiah. We thank you for coming. We thank you for your ministry. We thank you for your heart. We thank you for your wisdom, your understanding, and your willingness to keep an open hand and an open mind about the least of these in our community. And we want you to know that Pre for Evergreen is part of the Matthews Broadcast family. Whatever we have in this platform, whatever we have in our inner circle belongs to you, because if we are anything, we're part of a community. And without you, we don't have a community. And without brothers and sisters who are away from home and who are home, we all are still part of that circle. As far as I'm concerned, it does not matter what walls you are behind. The question is what is inside of your heart? Are you part of the community? Are you looking to be a contributor to the community? Are you looking to empower and enrich your community? If you are, then whatever resource we have belongs to you and it's at your disposal. So as we go to the break, I just want to thank Brother Isaiah Jenkins for Pre for Evergreen, nonprofit here that's doing mighty things, and you're going to hear a lot more from them. I want to thank Sister Lisa Thompson coming tonight as the representative for the Holy House of Prayer for the Family Night that's coming up on Thursday, the 22nd of December at the Center Street IHOP here in Patterson. And as we go to the break, just want you to ask you to stay tuned with us. We're coming right back. So as we continue here in the broadcast, we are joined by a very special guest, Dr. Chris Irving, the president of the Patterson Board of Education and also the founder of the Miller Institute. Is that correct, Dr. Chris?
Yes, it is.
All right, I'm glad to know that. You can leave that right there. And we are also joined in studio by Dawn Marable Fields. She is my sister from a long time ago. We grew up together in the great city of East Orange, New Jersey. And she has just joined the Matthews broadcast very recently as our marketing director. There's no one that Dawn does not know, and there's no marketing technique she hasn't mastered. So we feel blessed to have her. And so we're glad that she's in studio with us and Dr. Chris this evening. Good evening, Dawn.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad that you are here. So, Dr. Chris, first tell me what is the Miller Institute and who does it serve?
Sure. So the Miller Institute is actually a nonprofit organization. I started the company, the business, and because that's what it is. It is a business. It's a nonprofit philanthropic organization. But our business is to do good quality work. And so we started the organization in 2007. Myself and a business partner of mine. She's a psychologist. And so our whole intention was to take the background we had. We were both diversity trainers. We did a lot of leadership training for corporations and businesses. And so we wanted to put together an entity that would underscore our respective skill sets together. And so in 2007, I took a leap of faith. I had a really nice, cushy job at Seton Hall University. I was the associate director of student life, making really decent money. But I wanted to go out on a whim and try my hand at being an entrepreneur. Or a social entrepreneur, for that matter, and to this day, we're a nonprofit, so all our information is public information, so you can see. But we bring in quite comfortably more than $250,000 annually in revenue and sales, to the programs and services we provide to our clients, and we do work all over the country, and we have done consulting work also in Europe and in Africa as well. It's been a really cool ride. Now, with that said, it didn't begin that way. Like most folks who are business owners have stories. The first 2 or 3 years were absolutely rough, trying to establish a brand, trying to establish ourselves in the market, to figure out which markets were our best niche. But we figured that out now, and I'm really happy, really, really proud of the organization we created.
And it sounds like it's allowing you to stay in that vein of doing public service work.
Without a doubt. I love being a politician, and I love serving people. But the work that I do, working with organizations, with universities, school districts, allows me a different opportunity to do that, and to do it with people who I may never see again. So, we're coming in, we're imparting knowledge, we're trying to change hearts and minds and systems, for that matter, and believing that we do that. Folks will be able to implement that information and really transform and change their universities, their businesses, etc.
Because we're one community. We're one community. Tell me, who's a great referral for you? Who's a person that you think the Miller Institute can really serve?
So if you're an executive or human resource manager, most businesses, small to medium-sized businesses, or of course major corporations, have to do some work relative to either EO, affirmative action training, etc. So we get brought in to do a lot of work for businesses to cover that point or to check that box, which we're okay to do because somebody's got to provide the service. But we also work with school districts and universities around the country. Those are our largest clients. So we work a great deal with 4-year and 2-year institutions and school districts, coming in and doing much long-term work. Most times, we get the phone call when people say something, do something stupid, and so they got to have intelligent, articulate faces to come in and try to help them fix whatever problems that happen to be there.
Now, with the wave of questionable instances in which police have used deadly force. Has the Miller Institute worked with law enforcement in terms of sensitivity and diverse training as well?
I'm glad you brought that up. The quick answer is no. But we have just instituted a new program to address instances of bias and training for law enforcement. And that came out of direct correlation because of what we're seeing around the country.
Absolutely.
And so, my business partner and I, we're having a conversation. We're always reflecting on, what's happened, because our field is the ever-changing field. One instance we might be dealing with issues related to race. Tomorrow we might be dealing with incidents related to sexual orientation, gender issues, disability status issues. I mean, the diversity field, the field of ethnic and racial diversity, is a huge field, and it's a great one to be a part of. But I believe that we certainly have a niche in the way we train people and how we educate those. And it also helps that my business partner is a 65-year-old white Jewish woman. So, we have the ability, collectively.
Reach any market.
It really is. I mean, we go in places, folks look like you and I, or people look like her. And because we're both credentialed and, we have our doctorates together, but we also have a great rapport and the information, that we're giving. I think folks, trust the fact that the information they're receiving is good. And then we try to make sure we get people to understand, the change only happens if they want it to happen.
That's right. That's right. Speaking of change, unexpected result in the presidential election.
Yep.
I'm going to go to my co-host here in the third segment. Sister Dawn, you are in contact with all of the ladies in New Jersey of all colors and all persuasions. I know you're a very independent person, and as you sit back now and assess what the result of the presidential election was, I looked at the numbers, and the numbers were that President-elect Trump got less votes than the Republican candidate in 2012, Mitt Romney. He actually got less votes. Unfortunately, Secretary Clinton, Secretary Clinton also did not duplicate the performance of President Obama. So the Obama coalition did not stay together, did not come out for her. Now, the question is, why did we have the right message, a diverse message, as Dr. Chris was just saying, but this messenger couldn't connect? Why was it that, in your opinion, as you talk to people in urban communities, why didn't Secretary Clinton connect, in your opinion, Dawn?
Well, I think she didn't connect. She doesn't really connect with the people. I think she if you have two people, if you have Donald Trump and then you have Hillary Clinton. Now, if you ever watch any of the debates, when Hillary Clinton came out, people was basically texting, talking, whatever. But when Trump came out, people paid attention. And the reason they paid attention is because he is a celebrity. And sad to say, whenever a celebrity runs for an office, they always win. It doesn't matter what their platform is. History of any celebrity running, Ronald Reagan won. Jesse the Body Ventura, he ran and ran.
Arnold
Schwarzenegger.
Very true.
And now Donald Trump. So I wasn't really surprised at his win because celebrity status gives you some kind of extra charisma, extra pow that Hillary was kind of lacking. And she didn't really run her platform on the fact that she was a female. That was just she happened to be a female. She didn't actually go after just the female vote. She did originally when she was running in 2012 against Obama. That was her basic platform, was to rally women together. But in this particular race, she didn't really focus on women. I'm not quite sure what she focused on, but I think her personality, if they wanted to run a female in that position, I think they picked the wrong one. That's just my opinion. I think if they would have run a more charismatic person, even if it was Michelle Obama, I think if it was Michelle Obama, she probably would have won. I really think she might have had a better chance because she connects more with people than Hillary Clinton actually connects with people. So that's just my opinion. I think that's what the average person feels when you sit back afterwards. Because I think it was a shock to everybody that Donald Trump actually won. I know it was a shock to me. I didn't think he was winning, but he actually, I don't know. I think if I sat back and think about his celebrities, I think what put him over the top.
Gotcha. Dr. Irving, why wasn't Secretary Clinton able to hold the Obama coalition together?
Because she wasn't the right person for the position, and I think, I'm a staunch Democrat. I get beat up politically, by folks all the time about my political affiliation, but I'm a staunch Democrat. I'm a party guy. I love being a Democrat. But I think, we all got to take a hard look at ourselves, Democrats, and go, she was shoved down our throat. I mean, that is a very tough, while she was certainly qualified, while she was certainly, probably next in line, she was also shoved down the majority of American throats. And I think she was thrust upon us, and there are some people like myself who are, if Homie the Clown runs for president and the Democrat, I'm supporting him. I'm rolling with the brother, right? Homie don't play that. Boom, he got my vote. But there are some people, young people. I mean, think about the Obama coalition and what it mobilized. It mobilized disenfranchised voters who are typically not a part of the process. Young people, folks of color. Latinos were certainly energized in this election, but for a whole different reason. But between young people and folks of color, we turned out and drove the numbers that we may never see again. But look at why she lost. Young people weren't energized, to vote. She did not speak to the issues and to the needs of what young voters are looking for. And then she certainly did not speak to the issues in time to what folks of color were looking for. And I think she paid a really staunch price for it. I think that time will tell what price culturally we all play. But it is what it is at this stage in the game. And I've lived through George Bush and Ronald Reagan, and I will live through Donald Trump.
Well, I have said on this air, Dawn and Dr. Chris, that I think this is a good thing. And the reason why I think this is a good thing is that our community has risen to any challenge whenever it felt that its interests were at stake, and it felt that another community was going to try to roll back the clock on our gains.
Absolutely.
I think we're going to look more inwardly. I think that we are going to become more aggressive, and we're going to demonstrate again that we get stronger when there's pressure on us. Now, we certainly did not want this result, but I think that we have to be prepared in the next 4 years to be more supportive of each other on the economic front in particular, on the political front actually, and on the social front. We've got to build communities with real strength, economic strength, social strength, spiritual strength, and I think this is going to force us to do this. One thing about this particular president-elect that is very clear: when he says "Make America Great Again," and you look at the faces who are aligned with him, you know exactly what he is talking about. So we need to be real clear about that. I know you were trying to get in. What did you have to say?
And I think that's a great point. It's making white America great again. And I think this election, I'm a diversity trainer. So I can tell you I had a huge conference the week after the election was over. And this election exposed to me, and it should expose to everyone, how real white fear is.
Yes.
That there are white people who are generally concerned about losing, and you figure, put in whatever the losing is, right? Losing opportunity, losing housing, losing resources, losing status. There are people legitimately afraid of losing, and those folks turned out. You got to evaluate this. Trump is the antithesis of Barack Obama. Obama, turned out people with a message of hope that we can change things. We got to be active. Come on, black folks. Come on, young folks. Trump goes, come on, poor white people. You've been losing for the last 8 years. I'm your savior. You got to understand.
Well, the other day on the morning show, they hit the streets in New York, and Willie Geist from NBC was out there asking some questions that I found fascinating. He said he was only going to talk to people who supported President-elect Trump. So he asked some really pointed questions. Willie Geist asked about 4 people that he stopped on the highways and byways in New York and New Jersey. And he said, how many jobs did President Obama's policy send overseas in the last 8 years? And the guy just kind of saw stars. And he said, well, tell me what President Obama has done has impacted you in terms of opportunity? And the guy kind of just stared. And what I recognized from watching what Willie Geist was doing is that those people who turned out for President-elect Trump, the person that they elected has nothing in common with them in terms of their economic interests.
Not at all.
Absolutely none. A truck driver and Donald Trump have nothing in common. A white waitress in Nebraska has nothing in
Zero.
common. In fact, a white waitress in Nebraska will not be hired at Mar-a-Lago. He's going to hire some folk from overseas who are not documented, which he has. So what's interesting is you talked about the dynamic of white fear, your business is psychology. There's something else going on because they know that he's not their champion. Working white people in this country know that he's not their champion, yet they voted for him. So I think there's something to this point that you're making, Dr. Chris. There's a fear generated by seeing too many brown folk.
Yes.
And I think I agree with that exactly. See, the thing is, 8 years they had a black man in charge of the United States of America. Mm-hmm. And to try to slip a white woman in that place with Hillary Clinton,
Right.
they would have still, the white man would have still been
You done gone too
second
far.
place. Exactly. He would have been like, wait, what's going on? So they would have probably done better if they had another maybe white male as a candidate as opposed to trying to slip Hillary in there, because they're not saying another 4 to 8 years that we're getting put on the back burner. They're even having an issue where you're saying about the fear. I haven't posted this on my Facebook page today. They have the first time the Mall of America has a black Santa Claus. Mm-hmm. And I think the reason they did is because last year with all the Black Lives Matters, they were boycotting the Mall of America. So this year they bring out their first black Santa Claus. And now whites are actually boycotting the Mall of America because they have a black Santa. They don't want a black Santa. They're saying Santa is supposed to be white.
The guy who's fictional.
Right.
The guy who doesn't even exist.
He's supposed to be
The
white.
figment of our imagination.
Right. Right. Well, there's an article, and I always compliment you, Matthew's Broadcast family, with being the most astute and intelligent community that I've ever been associated with. I get your emails, I get your texts, I get your Facebook commentary. Sometimes I get personal calls, and very insightful people in this community. One of the brothers that I talk to frequently sent me an article from American Demographics, Dr. Chris. And American Demographics said in this article that the graduating class of 2016 in June, that was the first graduating high school class in the history of America where 52% of the graduates were not white.
How real is that?
Now, what is happening, you feel me, Cornelius? Mm-hmm. The first time in the history of America, 17 and 18-year-olds graduating from high schools all across the country, 52% of them checked the box that they were not classified as white. That means they were Asian. That means they were of African descent. That means that they were of Hispanic descent. This is having an impact again on some folk looking at this, and the census of 2020 and the census of 2030 is going to be real telling that the browning of America is taking place no matter what anybody does about it. Now, I don't care how much you freak out, it's happening.
Now here's my thing, right? Can you see why people are? Can you see why? No, my work is about understanding perspective, right?
That's
And
right.
understanding, what motivates people to
That's right.
take actions that they do.
That's right.
And I get it.
I get
If you're in a position of privilege, it may not be economic, but societal privilege,
Mm-hmm.
and you're literally sitting back, watching your privilege erode in front of your face. That is absolutely tough, and you will fight like hell to keep it.
That's right.
And I think
That's right.
this election, was an indication that there are clear white folks who certainly want to fight against it. Coupled with the fact that, and it's another piece that I think not many folks want to acknowledge, is that Hillary Clinton had a very horrible choice as the vice presidential candidate. She picked someone. She had tons of options.
Mm-hmm.
Could have picked a Latino brother. She could have picked another woman. Elizabeth Warren that really could have energized young people. She could have picked Bernie Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
No, she goes safe. And you play it safe. And when she picked, I forgot who I forgot. I'm blanking now. The guy who was
Tim Kaine.
When she picked Kaine, I said that's the most selfish thing I think I've ever seen a politician do. That was her choice. That wasn't for
Mm-hmm.
the party, for the country. You can't have a country who is used to seeing a person of color in leadership, and then be able to say, "Oh no, we don't need to, at least continue that trend," because the trend that you just identified is what people who look like us are getting used to.
That's right. That's right. And again, that American demographic study is saying that the birth rate among white women between the ages of 18 and 40, those years where women decide to have children, for better or worse, that birth rate is at negative.
Yes, it is.
I see the
So
same thing.
so it seems to me it seems to me that that white women across the country are kind of voting with their wombs.
Yes.
That I don't know if I'm so comfortable bringing someone in this world, and that is a very, very telling point. But as we go forward and this diversity piece, I know, Dr. Chris, I want to have you back again because you're going to help us to watch these trends. It is not going away. America is a more diverse society and will continue to be.
Yes.
The American demographic study went on to say by the year 2032 that the watershed moment would have reached where America will be 51% a nation of color. And there's nothing that's going to change that. Right? So we got to, as Bob Marley said, don't worry about nuclear weapons. Nothing can stop the time.
Right.
So that the nuclear weapon here is the birth rate. Want to ask Dr. Chris, how can people get in contact with the Miller Institute?
Sure. You can go to our website, www.themillerinstitute.com. That will have all our information on it. Our website lists all our programs, all our services, a list of all the clients we've ever worked with, a very exhaustive list. Also, my email address and information is on there as well.
Great. One question I want to ask you. As president of Patterson Board of Ed, you preside over a budget of $598 million. I know that we are asking for local control here. I know Brother Stan Neron, I went to school with him at Kane. His team won in Elizabeth, and they are now in control with the Elizabeth Board of Education. As we just
Stan's
had
a good brother, too.
Great brother. We just had congratulations on getting married. That lady, you are not worthy of that lady that you got married to, Stan. So congratulations, my brother. We now have opportunities, Dr. Chris, to employ merchants in our own communities, buy services from them so we can absorb some of this unemployment.
Yep.
Brother Isaiah Jenkins was just on us with Pre for Evergreen. A lot of these brothers and sisters are coming home, and we need to use the purchasing power that we have personally and also organizationally to see if we can get stronger in terms of being able to hire our own so they don't have to get into this recidivism problem and go back to where they came from. So tell me what kind of plans, if you will, generally that you see things that can be implemented if we get local control back in Patterson.
Well, one of the things that I want to do, and I will, challenge you actually, to help me, either try to create this stand and make it happen. But I would love for us to do a Minority Business Expo, where we bring in folks of all vendors who help fix computers, vendors who provide food, vendors who provide books, paper, etc.
Do payroll services. Everybody's got to get a check. You've got a bunch of teachers.
To be able to bring folks in just so they can learn more about how what the district does and how they might be able to get an inroad. Because the first step to that process is people understanding who we are and what we do, and we are a governmental agency. We are an educational entity, but we are a governmental agency. Yeah. There's procurement law, there's bid law, there's insurance thresholds that folks have to have. So many of our people who want opportunities even before they get to the door, they're precluded because they don't have X, Y, and Z. And I care very much about trying to put something like that together in the spring, where we bring business owners who look like us, who are from our community. When I say look like us, I'm talking about brown and black people, my Latino brothers and sisters, my Asian brothers and sisters, my women-owned
the Obama coalition.
Because that is who we are.
That's right.
And it's not a knock on the folks who currently provide service either. No. But I'm a firm believer in opportunity.
Absolutely.
And I think for too long, the folks in our community have been shut out from that.
Well, you have just sent my Facebook page crazy. Because for 28 years, my company, S.A. Matthews Group, has worked with business owners, franchise owners, small business owners, medium-sized companies. They're calling in. I can't take that call right now, Peter. It's folks that, because you have the ability to influence policy.
Absolutely.
For in a major way. So I know why people are excited about the opportunity. I thank you for being open to discussion. We will work together on doing that. I'll do whatever I can from Atlantic City to here. We have people, Pleasantville, Absecon, all the way down there. Last night we had guests from Burlington and Camden County. Our community is thirsty for it, but what I'm hearing you say loud and clear, your responsibility as a governmental agent is to make sure they're fit and that they're able
Correct.
to be able to provide services and products of quality to the agency that you are privileged to preside over as president. So we got you there. Sister Dawn, we've got some things coming up in the new year that we're trying to bring together. We're glad that we have you. If you have anything to say to people out there, I know you talk to entrepreneurs all across the state as well. What would you say to them as we prepare for 2017 in terms of being able to have their business ready to take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of us?
I say step up your game. Make sure you get out there, even if it's just coming here in this radio station, because we need to understand economics, and we need to understand what doing business amongst ourselves really can do to our community. If we keep taking our dollars and giving it to other people, we'll never build our community. We'll never gain respect. We'll never be able to just be on our own, which is what we really need to do, because for so long we've been trying to integrate and be with everybody else. It's time for us to start being amongst ourselves and focusing on ourselves, putting our dollars in our own pockets instead of giving our dollars to other people in their communities.
As Malcolm used to say, I don't have to hate nobody to love you. So it's not about who we don't like, it's about loving on each other real hard. We thank you so much, Dr. Chris Irving, for being with us. More success to the Miller Institute. Our prayers and our fervent wishes that all of the young people under your care and under your authority have a wonderful year in 2017. We're confident that you have an awesome leadership team. We're confident in you. We know that you can do the job. We know that people think you can do the job. So just go on and do what you know is the right thing to do for your people here.
Thank you for the
Our brother Stan Neron, same to you and Elizabeth. We're going to be talking to the folks at the East Orange Board of Education as well. Matthews Broadcast family, thank you for being the best community, the most able and wise community that I know of. And remember, there are two people in the world, dreamers like you and dream killers. Embrace the first and run from the second. Until we're back together again in Matthews Broadcast at 91.7 FM and Gems Radio, www.gemsradio.net. I say good night, God bless, and we will talk to you soon, family.